A notice of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the county boardroom. All commissioners are present, as well as our soon-to-be newly named County Administrator Bonnie Moore, County Treasurer Mr. Mixel, or Dan Talikas. Yes, Mr. Mixel's here. And of course, I was going to say Dan Pittman, but we didn't need you today, did we? Are you on there?
Yeah.
I'll be acting as board chairman until a new one is elected. Please silence your cell phone and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is 3.1, Resolution 2024-20, election of the chairman of the Sarpy County Board of Equalization. Please make a motion.
Well, I will. Although you've done an outstanding job as board chairwoman, I think I'd like to nominate Angie Burmeister to be the chairwoman of the Board of Equalization.
Second.
This is where you ask if we have any discussion or comments.
Oh, is there any discussion or comments? Any other possible nominations? All right, go ahead and vote. It's wide open. Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Speech. No.
As they say, brief is best. I really appreciate the nomination and look forward to working with everybody again for another year. For the nomination for vice chairman, I'd like to nominate Dave Klug to be the vice chairman for this upcoming year.
I'll second it.
Congrats. She just appoints and you're good to go. No vote needed. Congratulations,
great.
Mr. Klug.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you very
Awesome. What power you have, Angie.
much. Scary, isn't it?
Didn't you put that
Really
in the
scary.
I probably did.
Would this be an appropriate time just to say you're the only one that would even agree to do it? Or
Exactly. Yeah. I missed a meeting maybe, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we'll move on to the consent equalization agenda. These are items of business that are routine, which are expected to be adopted without dissent. Would anyone like to see any items removed from the consent agenda?
Motion approved. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 5.1 is tax corrections 17334 to 17337 and 17346 to 17348 and 17350 to 17359. Dan Pittman, County Assessor.
Good afternoon. Are there any questions on these?
Questions for Dan?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned and will reset for the Board of Commissioners.
Give them a time. Okay. It is exactly 3:04 on January 9th, 2024. I'd like to call the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Again, the Open Meeting Act is located on the north wall in the boardroom. All commissioners are present, and our board administrator, Bonnie Moore, and myself, Renee Landsman, Sarpy County Clerk, Register of Deeds, Deputy, all present. I will be acting as board chair until a new one's elected. First item on the agenda is 2.1, resolution election of chairman for the County Board of Commissioners. Please make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Angie Burmeister as chairwoman of the Sarpy County Board.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Are y'all there?
Just showed up.
You're all good, right? Ayes 5, nays 9, motion carried.
Thank you so much for appointing me for another year as the board chair. I appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you all again and to working with Bonnie shortly here. I'd like to appoint David Klug as the vice chairman.
Thank you again.
Okay, we are on to item 2.2 is the 2024 board liaison representatives. I don't think they're linked there, Renee, but we've got, we'll have those on the website showing which county commissioner is assigned to which particular outside board.
Do you want to read the list into the record, or you're fine? It's fine to be on the web?
I can
I've
read
got
it in.
one.
If you've got it, I can read it in.
do.
Sure.
Do you have a list? Is that a
We
list?
should have given it to you to begin with.
I saw it earlier.
The full board will be participating on Board of Equalization, Board of Corrections, Leasing Corporation, Noxious Weeds, contract negotiations, legislation and legislative testimony, speeches, media interviews, and public board representation opportunities. Then the board representative for each of these committees are Budget and Finance Committee. It's David Klug and Don Kelly, Eastern Nebraska Human Services Agency and Region 6 Governing Board, Don Kelly, MAPPA Board, Angie Burmeister, NACO Board, Gary Mixon, Gross Sarpy, David Klug, Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee, Gary Mixon, Mental Health Services Committee, Jim Warren and Angie Burmeister, Sarpy Cass Department of Health and Wellness Board, Angie Burmeister, Merit Commission, Don Kelly, Heartland Workforce Solutions Board, Jim Warren, Sarpy County and Cities Wastewater Agency Board, Don Kelly, Werner Park Committee, Jim Warren and Gary Mixon, Legislation Coordination Committee, Angie Burmeister and David Klug, Audit Committee, David Klug and Angie Burmeister, and Position Review, David Klug and Angie Burmeister. We will move on to item 3.1, which is a proclamation, Greater Omaha Area Home to Offutt Air Force Base named 2023 Great American Defense Community. And I'll have the board come down to the front here, and we'll have our representatives there if they want to come forward. Pardon? I'm hoping I can read the proclamation here if I can find it quick. Yes, thank you. First meeting of the year, you know. Whereas the Omaha Metro in 2023 was one of 5 U.S. communities or regions recognized as the Great American Defense Community by the Association of Defense Communities, and whereas this honor celebrates exceptional commitment to improving the quality of life for military members and was determined through a competitive nomination process, and whereas Sarpy County is home to Offutt Air Force Base, headquarters of the U.S. Strategic Command and 55th Wing, and whereas 11,000 military personnel and civilians work at Offutt, and 20,000 Sarpy residents are military veterans. And whereas veterans and active duty military members are our family, friends, and neighbors who answered our country's call and our county's call, forging a proud and unselfish tradition. And whereas our county and community continues to welcome and support our service members and military families who dedicate their lives and careers to protecting our freedoms. And whereas the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners prioritizes policies to make Sarpy County a welcoming place to live for our military families. Whereas Sarpy County considers considers its interactions with past and present military members among its most important work, with the county's Veterans Service Office helping more than 22,000 veterans and their families access their VA benefits in 2023 alone. And therefore, the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners wishes to extend its utmost thanks and recognition to the community for earning a national accolade for its military support. I'd like to invite comments from our representative if you'd like, and also from our other board members.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Davis, the Community Partnership Manager for Offutt Air Force Base. We were one of 38 packages that were submitted, so it was really competitive across the nation. There's a lot of communities out there with a lot of installations, but what we do on a daily basis for partners, both for families, spouses, and the mission for national security is above reproach. And we thank you for our continuing partnership. And we're just really excited to be able to celebrate with you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, this is a big deal. You know, I served in the military, as you all know, and so did Jeff Mikesell, and we've seen our fair share of, bases around the world and in the country. And to win an award like this signifies that the support that wraps around those airmen out at Offutt Air Force Base is substantial and consistent and counted on. And I don't know how you put the value of that into words, but it really means a lot to these young airmen who come from all parts of the country to Omaha as strangers and leave here as friends and Nebraskans for all intents and purposes. So congratulations, Colonel Davis, to you and everybody out at Offutt Air Force Base. We appreciate what you guys do to defend our nation every day in an uncertain time. And we're just glad to be a small piece of the support that you get. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that this support is all-inclusive. It includes our chambers, it includes our cities, and it includes all our organizations that do good things across our county that reach out and support our Offutt community on a daily basis. So this is a big deal. And we've won a few awards like this in the past, but this one is right at the top because there's a lot of bases and there's a lot of people that want to do good things, but the things we've done have been recognized and we're just very appreciative of it. So thank you.
I just have a few comments, and mine, one is from my time in Bellevue on the council and as mayor, I got a full view and a full understanding of what the community does, what Sarpy County does, and the relationship with the base. Because I've heard the horror stories of the military that are moving around from base to base, that they're not treated very well at a lot of areas. There's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of upheaval. There's just not the support that they see here. And I think you also see that in how many military retire here as well. So, and thankfully, Commissioner Kelly is one of them as well, and because he's meant a lot to this county as well. And the other thing that's really cool is Offutt Air Force made it on an episode of Star Trek too. So that was really, that brought us full circle. Thank you, and this is a big honor.
I'll just say very briefly, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to represent Sarpy County, the county that obviously houses Offutt Air Force Base. It's wonderful having neighbors and friends in the military. You men and women bring so much to the community. We're blessed to have you here, and we're thrilled that we can give back in a very small way. So thank you very much.
just step up forward here and get a picture. Oh, thank you, Jose. Okay, item number 4 is Commissioner Administrator comments. I'd like to say, first of all, welcome to Leadership Sarpy. Thank you so much for coming out. We're honored to have you here today. And we'll start with Commissioner Kelly.
No comment, but Happy New Year, everyone.
But I'd also like to welcome the Leadership SARP folks. I was in class of 2017, which was amazingly a long time ago now, but it was a great program. Thrilled to see that people are still making it out. So good to see everybody. Thank you for being here, and good luck.
Yeah, one comment. Gretna yesterday had a funeral for an individual that was a large part of our community. Coach Brad Feakin. Feek was high school boys basketball coach. Played at the highest level of the sport in Nebraska athletics. And talking to the other teachers, he was an amazing. I met his family, amazing family. He said, obviously a good basketball coach, but what was interesting about Feek, he was one of the favorite teachers at Gretna, and he taught middle school reading. Can you think of that? I mean, everybody that had him as a student or for a teacher loved the guy and was impacted by the fact of he would come up to individuals that were kind of disengaged, and he said, you know, I just read this book and I think you would like it. And the kids would take it home and read it. So Feek is going to be missed in our community. He's going to be missed by the state of Nebraska. And thank you for his example that he's set.
Just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. We have a lot. It's going to be a lot going on this year, but it's good to be back, and we'll get it going.
Bonnie, we'll get to you in a minute. We'll move on to the consent
Angie,
commissioners.
if you wanted to, you could do Bonnie first thing right now, 7-5.
Okay,
Welcome her into the little fold there.
that sounds great. We'll just move up item 7
Bring her up.
Yeah, 6, is it, oh, it's 7.5, you're right. It's Resolution 2024-019, employment contract with Bonnie Moore for the position of Sarpy County Administrator for a term commencing January 9, 2024 to December 31, 2026, at the rate of $180,621 per annum. This contract we've worked through. We think Bonnie's going to be an excellent person in this position. And so I'll make a motion to approve item 7.5.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burmeister, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion?
Are you sure you still want to do this?
Don't ask her that. Please vote.
Come on, Dawn, there you go.
Thank
Ayes,
you.
5, nays, none. Congratulations, Bonnie.
Made me nervous.
Would you like to make any comments, Bonnie?
I do. May I approach?
Sure. You should be able to unplug it and put it on the other side if you want.
Oh, there we go. I'll keep it super brief, I promise. Just want to first thank Scott for the assist in providing one of my new bosses, something I should have printed earlier, so thank you for that. And I just want to thank the board for their support. I've been with the county just a little over 11 years. I can truly say I love working here. I love the variety, I love the people, and I'm just so excited to continue on with that and do some really great things this year. I want to also thank Lee for his trusted me as chief for the previous 6 years and congratulate John on his a nomination or appointment to that new position. So thank you to the board, and I look forward to working with you.
We will move on to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to see any items removed from the consent agenda or entertain a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 6.1 is public hearing and resolution 2024-011, adopt amended Sarpy County zoning regulation, text amendments to section 34 supplemental regulations, applicant Sarpy County Planning and Building Department, Jason Kubicek, planner.
Good afternoon, and thank you, ENG commissioners. Notification of public hearings for today's agenda items were published in a local newspaper. Zoning action signs were posted at the subject properties, and properties within 300 feet of the subject property were mailed a notice of public hearing. So that for this first text amendment, this is related to the second agenda item, but we'll read them separately here, and I'll read a motion, or I'll read our recommendation. The text amendment will remove a restriction for home occupations in the ag zoning district to allow an operation to use 100% of the structures on site. Home occupation rules do require the applicants live on site. The original intent of the restriction was likely to limit the extent of home occupations in zoning districts in more dense neighborhoods. In the ag zoning districts, accessory structures are not limited in size. So if this restriction was enforced, large portions of existing accessory structures would be left empty. By removing the 30% limitation for ag zoning, existing buildings can be used to conceal a home occupation, which is also a requirement set by the zoning regulations. So staff recommends approval of the changes to the Sarpy County zoning regulations, section 34, supplementary regulations as shown in attachment A, as the text amendments are consistent with the overall zoning regulations of Sarpy County. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions for Jason? Anyone want to make a motion?
Public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a public hearing. Anyone for the public want to be heard on this issue? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 6.2 is public hearing and resolution 2024-010, special use permit in AG Agricultural Farming District to allow home occupation, one major for a luxury restroom and shower trailer renter business on the property at 16902 South 180th Street and legally described as tax lot 6B in section 29, township 13 north, range 11 east of the 6th prime meridian, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of 180th Street and Flug Road. Applicant Grant and Aaron Strala. Jason Kubicek, planner.
Thank you. Thanks for reading through that. Grant and Aaron Stala are requesting approval of a special use permit for a home occupation to allow a luxury restroom and shower trailer rental business on a property owned by Robert L. Mixon, generally located southwest of 180th Street and Flug Road. The applicants plan to purchase the property from Mr. Mixon for their home and business operations. The property is approximately 5.45 acres and zoned agricultural farming. The site contains a single-family residence and 2 large detached garages, private roads, and parking lot, and forested area towards the west end there. Business hours are to be Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Access to the subject property is from 180th Street, and the site does have 2 access points that are sufficiently wide for turning with a trailer. There will be no customer visits to the site, and 2 to 3 trailers are delivered per week on average. Waste tanks will be emptied at municipal wastewater treatment facilities. This special use permit is not automatically transferable to a future property owner if that comes about. No unauthorized discharge can be made to a local waterway or to groundwater. No outdoor storage of equipment or materials is allowed. Advertising done for the business shall not mention the subject property by address or description of the route to the site. The current property owner has worked with staff to close all open permits on the property as well. So with that, staff recommends approval of the special use permit for a home occupation to allow a luxury restroom and shower trailer rental business to a personal residence at 16902 South 180th Street in accordance with the operational plan submitted by the applicant, the comments in the recommendation report. Staff makes this recommendation as the request is in conformance with the Sarpy County zoning regulations provided the conditions are met. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Thanks.
Questions for Jason? This is a public hearing. Would any member of the public like to be heard on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
I just want to make a comment. I will, because I am related to the owner of the property.
Ayes 4, abstain, Mixon, motion carried.
Item 6.3 is public hearing and resolution 2024-006, rezoning from AGD Agricultural Development District to RE2 Residential Estates 2 District for a subdivision to be known as lots 1, 2, 3, and Outlot A, Colm Acres, generally located southwest of 132nd Street and Buffalo Road. Applicant Morgan Colm, Jason Kubicek, planner.
Yeah, if you want to read in
sure.
6.4 and 6.5, we can do one big public hearing
Okay.
for all three.
Okay, perfect. So this will also be public hearing and resolution 2024-007, preliminary plat of a subdivision to be known as lots 1, 2, 3, and Outlot A, Colm Acres, being a platting of tax lots 9A and C1 in Section 36, Township 13N, Range 11E of the 6th Prime Meridian, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of 132nd Street and Buffalo Road. Applicant Morgan Colm, Jason Kubicek, planner. And 6.5 is public hearing and resolution 2024-008, final plat of a subdivision to be known as lots 1, 2, 3, and Outlot A, Colm Acres, being a platting of tax lots 9A and C1 in Section 36, Township 13N, Range 11E of the 6th Prime Meridian, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of 132nd Street and Buffalo Road. Applicant Morgan Kolb, Jason Kubicek, planner.
All right, thanks again. Morgan Colm, the applicant, is proposing 2 to 3 acre lots for single-family residences and 1 outlet to be set aside as an environmentally sensitive area. The existing single-family residence will be within proposed Lot 3. Subject to the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan, this subdivision is required to dedicate 40% of the total site area as a protected outlot. The subject property is in the floodplain. All development and improvements in the floodplain shall comply with the applicable requirements of Section 29 floodplain district of the Sarpy County zoning regulations. 3 existing access points from Buffalo Road will provide ingress-egress to all lots. Access for lots 1 and 2 will be via the proposed dedicated right-of-way to be known as 135th Circle. Construction and maintenance of the proposed road and driveways within the development will be the full responsibility of the developer and landowners. A proposed community water well will serve all lots. The applicant has requested to allow the use of an individual septic for each lot because a community septic does not provide an apparent benefit to the public and creates undue complication and cost. Staff recommends proceeding with individual septic. Additionally, because of multiple recent requests of this nature, staff is working with the Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy, who regulates on-site wastewater treatment, to evaluate the guidance in the comprehensive plan requiring community septic. All conditions from Planning Commission have been addressed, including comments made by the Sarpy County surveyor and engineer, and a signed development agreement is also on the agenda here. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning from AGD to RE2 for a proposed subdivision to be known as lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A. Colm Acres, subject to the comments found in this staff report and attachments. Staff makes this recommendation as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and complies with the requirements of the Sarpy County zoning regulations. Staff also recommends approval of the preliminary and final plats of a subdivision to be known as lots 1 through 3 and Outlot A, Colm Acres. With these conditions, the proposal meets the requirements of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan, zoning, and subdivision regulations. And I read with these conditions, those conditions have been met. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Questions for Jason? So these are public hearings for items 6.3, 6.4, and 6.5. Would any member of the public like to be heard on any of those items?
Thank you, Chairwoman, Commissioners. My name is Travis Jaycott, representing the developer. This is a pretty simple one, but I'm here to answer any questions you might have. And we'd also like to thank the county staff that helped move this along. This is in one of those preservation areas, so we really appreciate staff's help in getting this put together. So if you have any questions, please feel free.
What makes it a preservation area? The water?
The location and where the whole property is located, we wanted to reserve that 40% conservation area.
So is it Springfield Creek, or is it the groundwater that we use for drinking water, or what exactly?
You're on the track there. It's environmentally sensitive area. And so it's because of the floodplain. It's all mostly in the floodplain. There's a small area outside of it, but the comprehensive plan requires that because it's mostly to do with that.
Thank you.
Just trying to comply.
Is the total site 2 acres? Or is each lot 2 acres?
Each lot will be roughly 2 acres.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
Any other questions for Travis?
Thank you very much for your consideration.
Anyone else want to be heard on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 6.3 first, which is 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
06. Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Next is item 6.4, which is Resolution 007.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? Please vote.
I'm not getting are you getting?
Are you there?
I don't have a button, but I would be for.
I will be for.
So it was Klug and Kelly, correct?
Correct.
Are you seeing it now? No?
No.
Good, we're good. Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
And item 6.5, Resolution 008.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote if you can.
Yep, I'll be voting for.
Yes.
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 Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Okay. My screen is hung, so I can't see what's next on the agenda. Thank you.
That's why you print it.
I think, good job, Jim. We're on item 6.6 is Resolution 2024-009, Development Agreement between Morgan David Colm and Lauren Ashley Colm and Sarpy County for a subdivision to be known as Colm Acres, lots 1, 2, 3, and Outlot A, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southwest of 132nd Street and Buffalo Road. Applicant Morgan Colm, Kayla Hathcote, Deputy County Attorney.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I don't think anything additional beyond what Trace has already told you about needs to be discussed, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Just a point, it's Resolution 9, right?
Oh, I didn't hear you.
6.6.
Yeah, if it's
Item
Resolution
6.6,
009.
Resolution 009?
Yes.
Okay. No questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Great. Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion?
Yeah, Morgan, did you want to come up and say anything at all?
I'm really good. Thank you, though.
Yeah, just giving you an opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 7.1, public hearing and recommendation to Liquor Control Commission. Zhang Hu Ke Zan Inc., DBA Ling's Asian Cuisine, application for a Class I beer, wine, distilled spirits on sale only liquor license for business at 6909 S 100 or South 157th Street, Suite A, Omaha, Nebraska 68136. Bingting Zhang, manager. I think Hannah is here on their behalf. Anybody have questions here? It's a public hearing. Does anyone want to come forward and have any issues on this particular application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion?
Just one comment. So Ling's Cafe has been there for, I don't know, 5, 6 years, whatever it's been. It was originally over in Bellevue at the, help me with the name, China Road.
Oh, yeah.
And so Kim moved to Lincoln, then Kim moved back to here and opened this up. I've been a regular customer, and I can vouch, this is amazing food. And so we're happy to have Hannah, who's worked there and is now buying the restaurant, and highly recommend it. A shameless plug.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 7.2 is Resolution 2023-392, tabled from December 12th, 2023, Nebraska Humane Society Animal Control Services Agreement between Sarpy County and the cities of Bellevue, Gretna, La Vista, Papillion, Springfield, and Ralston, effective January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2026. Andrea Gosnold Parker, Senior Deputy County Attorney, and I see we have someone from the Humane Society here. Is it Mr. Glant?
Yes.
Okay, if you can state your name, spell your last name for the record.
Yes. Steve Glant, Glandt. I'm the Vice President of Field Operations for the Nebraska Humane Society.
Perfect.
So I'm here to answer any questions you may have with regards to the proposed agreement with Sarpy County and these associated cities. And as a brief overview, NHS employs 18 animal control officers who cover Omaha and Sarpy County and all associated cities 24/7, 365 days a year. Our animal control officers are uniquely equipped and trained to respond to most animal-related calls. In 2023, we responded to nearly 4,300 calls in Sarpy County. And those are 4,300 calls that wouldn't fall on the shoulders of law enforcement, which would likely be the sheriff's office and associated cities. So, we relieve the burden for law enforcement there. Calls are going to generally range from stray pets, neglect cases, aggressive animals, wildlife calls, helping families with deceased pets. And briefly to highlight some of the calls of those 4,300, we had 139 calls to assist police and fire, 290 calls to investigate bites, 878 calls for stray animals, 236 calls for dead domestic animals, 240 calls to investigate animal neglect, and almost 1,500 calls to deal with wildlife. We had, I believe, 10 potentially dangerous dog declarations that were issued in Sarpy. And there are currently about 15 active PDD cases that we monitor ongoing for compliance for the 2-year period that each person would be under that requirement. We've also, in 2023, we handled 64 rabies-related cases, and that would involve submitting samples to the UNL lab for results on it, if it was confirmed or not. Fortunately, we didn't have any. So, and ideally for the shelter side, we try to keep about 20% availability kennel space for field related activities. So if we pick up strays, things like that, we're assured that we have kennel space for those animals. So finally, we've maintained a positive relationship with local law enforcement over the years, and we'll continue to do so. We also provide training to recruit officers that attend the Sarpy Douglas Law Enforcement Training Academy. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you a snapshot of what we do for you, and I would welcome any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Steve?
So, thanks for coming down, by the way.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you is because, there's been some pretty negative publicity in the press recently about leadership changes. And can you address that and tell us, what the situation's like now up there?
Yeah, I can to a point. I will tell you that our board, we have the full support of our board. Pam Weiss, who's been a longtime member of the Humane Society and well-known member of the community, is currently the interim CEO. And I know the board is going to launch a nationwide search for a new CEO. And with regards to the article, I will also back up to a previous article that spoke actually very highly of the animal control side. That same reporter rode for an 8-hour shift with one of our officers and was very impressed and noted that in that particular story. With regards to the most recent one that had a very negative outlook of the Humane Society, we took issue with several points that he had brought up as he was preparing to write it. We met with him for an extensive amount of time to correct him on some of the points that we felt were inaccurate, and he chose not to do that. He chose to report it as he did, and that's his right. But I would assure you that there's been no drop-off in our ability to care for the animals that we take in, to respond to calls for service, and to be a positive influence on the community.
So, and speaking about animal control, is that kind of your area of oversight?
Yes.
Okay. So you have 24 animal control officers?
We have 18 officers, yes.
So how many are would be on a daily basis supporting Sarpy County, for instance?
Normally, we always have one officer assigned to Sarpy County. Okay. And then generally there's going to be 3 to 4 in the in Douglas County in the Omaha area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just curious, I did some quick math by looking at how much our agreement is. And I didn't read on in the contract. I get bored with legal stuff. But are you guys required to show how much money comes out of Sarpy County for your services? Or is that something that you'd be willing to share with us on a regular basis?
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any problem with us sharing that.
Because I know there's licensing fees, there's other fees that go along with that.
Yeah, I believe we have, in 2023, I think 31,400 licensed pets in Sarpy County. And I don't have the licensing numbers with me. I'd have to dig into the contract, but
It'd be an interesting number to take a look at.
yeah, I'd be happy to share that with you all. And normally I will share an annual report with city administrators, and I would be happy to extend that report to you all as well if you'd like that.
Thank you.
And Stephen, I have just one more question, and this is more of a curiosity thing, but your animal control officers can issue summonses that require people to appear in court. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, do those animal control officers show up at court for the people they issue citations to?
Whenever there's the subpoena issued, they do appear in court.
Only for a subpoenaed issue?
Correct.
Okay. That surprises me a little bit. Because to make somebody appear in district court is a pretty serious and significant action, I would think, especially if it's a hearsay. Right? So somebody calls the Humane Society and says, I got bit by a dog. Okay. So then we go issue a summons to the dog owner based on just the testimony, a hearsay testimony, and tell somebody they got to report in district court?
There's so many more other factors that could go along with it. They conduct a thorough investigation. They take all testimony, all statements. They look at injuries. They, if somebody says a dog's loose, we simply won't go and write a ticket for somebody.
Right. And those are all misdemeanor offenses,
no.
They're felonies?
No, they're just misdemeanor infraction type.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. The last point, and not a question, and more on a cooperative comment is, Commissioner Mixon and I went out to the Humane Society a couple years ago and looked at the operation. And very impressive, by the way, very impressive. But Fort Street's a long ways from Bellevue and a long ways from most locations in Sarpy County. And I know Commissioner Mixon and I both thought we've got to come up with an initiative that would allow a satellite operation in Sarpy County. So whether it be an animal control issue or a quarantine or anything of that nature, it would be just more convenient for our citizens who are paying, I think, the same amount proportionally as Douglas County residents do, to have a location in Sarpy County. And you mentioned something to me. Could you share a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, we recently established a footprint here in Sarpy County with our Rainbow Bridge operation. We have a satellite location in Gretna now. I'm not sure what the exact location is, but it is in Gretna.
Okay.
There could be a potential expansion there to meet those needs. I know we have discussed it and recognize that there is a need. However, there's so many things with animal care, having people on site for 24/7 for those animals, veterinary care and things like that. It makes it kind of challenging.
Right.
But I would be more than happy to work up some type of proposal to see exactly what we'd be looking at.
So I don't know what the benchmark would be, but like for a similar metropolitan area, I just wonder if they have one central location or they try to do like satellites, make Des Moines or Denver, or I'd be curious to know how they did it. Not that it matters, but I think the long pole in the tent is obviously the cost, because that's one thing. I could not believe the facilities that they have up in Omaha. It's very impressive.
Yes.
You know, I mean, animal hospital, unbelievable laundry
Oh,
facilities.
it's amazing the
You
amount of
know,
laundry
it's just,
that they
it's
go.
incredible. But hey,
We had a situation this past summer where an underground pipe exploded and flooded our animal medical location. So we had to move all of that. Fortunately, we had the spay neuter clinic, and we were able to set that up as a fallback, if you will.
well, thanks again on behalf of the board for coming out. And I would just encourage whenever you get your new CEO on board and they've had a chance to dig out, it'd be nice if we could get a couple commissioners up to come visit and maybe talk about the next step in a process that would get us Sarpy County location.
Yeah, we would welcome it, and I left my card for you all if you have any follow-up questions, and, we can stay in touch with regards to that.
Thank you, Stephen.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Motion to approve Resolution 2023-392.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes, 5 nays, none, motion carried.
Item 7.3 is Resolution 2024-012, direct the Sarpy County Engineer and Sarpy County Administration to apply for federal funding through MAPA Transportation Improvement Plan on TIP under the STBG category for various road projects throughout Sarpy County. Scott Bovick, Deputy Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. As the board knows, any federal funding that a local entity wants to obtain to use for a road project, it must go through our Metropolitan Planning Organization, our MPO. For the Omaha metro area, that's MAPA, Metropolitan Area Planning Agency. I've had a great partnership with MAPA over the years. I know maybe all the commissioners have served on there, and Commissioner Burmeister will serve on that board this year. Again, they've been a great partner. Every year, every couple years, MAPA will release a call for projects where local entities are allowed eligible to submit possible projects to receive federal funding. As the board knows, we have a long list of road projects we want to do and various funding strategies to try to achieve those. And so this year, the last call for projects that MAPA had was in 2021, and we did receive an award for some work on Platteview Road in the middle of 22. And so they did not do a release the last couple years, but now they have one ready January 12th, 2024. So in looking at the priority projects that the board has, and I have those up on the screen, the first one that we would submit an application for is base repair and an asphalt overlay of Platteview Road from Highway 50 to 204th Street. That road is in deteriorating condition. It's an asphalt road. So this would allow us to go do base repair and do an overlay on that road to preserve the life of it for the next 20 years. Environmentally, it's a very easy project. Design-wise, it's very easy. And relative to the other projects that get submitted to MAPA for funding, it's low cost. So I think it is a very attractive project for MAPA and the committee to look at and fund. The next project, as the board knows, is a long-term project with the strategy of obtaining federal funds, and that's 168th Street project. And that's to take 168th Street from Highway 370 to Harrison Street, expand it to 5 lanes, replace a couple key bridges on the northern part of that corridor. It's a long-term project. It's an expensive project, about $80 million in today's dollars. We understand that the only way we'll really be able to achieve that is if we have federal participation. We've submitted that before. We'll submit that again and continue to share that message with MAPA. We're also going to continue to talk to MAPA and Department of Transportation on if there's any opportunities for discretionary grants that might help find a different source versus the typical MAPA funding. And then finally, a letter of support that we'd like the county board to ratify today, and you can see in your packet that the county engineer has submitted one as well towards the Harrison Street project. Harrison Street, improving that to 5 lanes from 156 to Highway 631. It's that last long piece of Harrison Street. Right now that corridor is 3 lanes. If you drive it, you can see that we've preserved the right-of-way to be able to expand it to 5 lanes. This is a letter of support for Omaha to take the lead, the city of Omaha. Douglas County would be a partner because a portion of that's in their jurisdiction. What we would apply for at this point would be preliminary design to start the process to get that corridor designed. I think from MAPPA's perspective, they love to see partnerships. So with Sarpy County, City of Omaha, Douglas County being immediate partners, and then long-term, the City of Gretna and City of La Vista, their boundaries approach that as well. And so I think it's a very attractive project, and Omaha obviously has the capacity to lead a project like that. And so you do have a letter of support in there. We'll submit these applications by Friday, the deadline, and then we should find out if we're awarded by likely May of 2024. And then typically when you're awarded that, it's programmed in out years, but in some cases we have the opportunity to go ahead and proceed with the construction and then get reimbursed once that program year arrives. So with that, happy to answer any questions about this that you might have.
Questions for Scott?
Is there, through MAPPA, is there an amount that is out there for the year 2024?
I haven't looked at it closely, but I will tell you, I think their annual funding allotment is close to the $20 to $30 million range. And so while that may seem a lot for a year, it gets eaten up pretty quickly when all the jurisdictions in the metro area want it. That's why I think, again, it's important for the City of Omaha, Douglas County, and Sarpy County as kind of the three biggest constituents to say this is an important project to us. But I think their funding constraints are 20 to 30 million per fiscal year.
And
I can verify that, Commissioner, and let you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions for Scott?
Motion to approve 2024-12.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
7.4 is Resolution 2024-018, agreement with Sports Field Specialties for replacement of wall padding at Warner Park Baseball Stadium in the amount of $169,446.80. Tom Dargy, Assistant County Administrator.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. As you know, the ballpark opened in 2011. It's an outdoor facility, and so it's been through approximately 12 years of Nebraska weather. And we are at the point where there's some deterioration of the padding. As you look up here at the pictures, you can kind of see the outfield wall, and then the other pictures are some of the interior infield walls. And so all of this is the original padding. There's about 95% of it that is the original padding. And the Major League Baseball has come back and said that it's an area that's deficient. Our HDR study that we did also came back and said that it was deficient. And this is something that we're contractually obligated to fix. We went out and received 2 bids to replace it. The first one was from O'Days Inc. for $208,870. And then the original contractor that first installed the padding submitted a bid, Sportsfield Specialties, for the amount of $169,446.80. Staff recommends signing the contract with Sportsfield Specialties. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
You say there was a minor design change on the new padding to where just the top can be replaced, so it should hopefully save us a little bit of money in the future.
That's correct. I'll scroll back up here, hopefully. Well, to this part right here. So that was part of the problem in the original design, or kind of a design flaw, I would call it, where it was all one piece. The new padding will have this yellow piece. This is actually a separate padding. And so when that deteriorates, we can replace that at minimal cost as opposed to replacing the entire panel.
Is it too hard just to take the padding down in the winter? I mean, wouldn't that save a lot of wear and tear?
Yeah, but that's something that with the contract and the way everything's set up, Warner Park would be responsible for doing that, and I'm not sure they have the area to store all that padding as well.
Okay.
What's the biggest weather element affecting it? I mean, is it water, or is it?
It's that it starts, once that sun, it's plastic that covers it, and it starts to deteriorate, become brittle. And then the other problem is then you have birds. There's a lot of birds out there. It's an outdoor facility. Then they land and then they start picking at it and they start grabbing the material to make nests, et cetera. And so that's kind of an unfortunate cost of doing business, I guess.
I know you don't probably have this, but it'd just be interesting what the original cost was when the stadium was built.
33
I'd have
million.
How much?
33 million.
No, not the stadium, just the
I'd have to go back and look.
No, I know. I'm being facetious, but yeah, it was part of a.
Well, I know. I get that. But obviously, they provided a bid then, and now it's just my curiosity of
Yeah,
how
I
much.
can look for that and I can email you that. But it was from the same company, so we'll have that.
I mean, 12 years is pretty remarkable, and it's obvious visually that it needs to be replaced.
Agreed.
So, good job on getting us the lowest bid.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion? Please vote.
It's expensive bird nesting.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
Item 7.6 is amend Resolution 2023-387, set salary for the Sarpy County Public Defender for the term of office beginning January 1, 2025 through December 31, 2028. Andrea Gosnold Parker, Senior Deputy County Attorney.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This item is back on the agenda in order to clarify some language by placing a floor on the potential changes under CPI. I can address any questions on the language if you have them.
Any questions for Annie?
No, I appreciate that you did that. I think it was the intent all along, but I'm glad you clarified that, and we got it in under the wire here. So thanks for that. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion?
Just make a brief comment, reflecting what the comments that I made the last time we met, as far as this seems to be a policy change in how we pay employees. And I guess bigger picture, I think that the board should work with Human Resources to look at that policy and understand how this impacts the county financially, but also culturally how it may impact our employees. So I will be move forward with that, and I'm sure you'll be right by my side with that.
No, I'm sure I will be. And that's a good point. But I mean, we've kind of done it that way with collective bargaining units historically. So now this is just kind of a tweak to elected officials. But if it's best practices for our collective bargaining units, it should be best practices for our elected officials. So, but yeah, we'll make sure that we're on firm ground moving forward.
Perfect. Any other comments? Please vote.
Ayes 5, nays none, motion carried.
All agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Commissioners is adjourned.